Good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday. We made it to the middle of the week. I think I said this last Wednesday, and I may have said it the previous Wednesday. It's a little too early for that, is it not? Let's do a verse today. Luke. We're in Luke again. The Lord's been pulling me to Luke lately. Luke chapter 24. Verse 45. Then opened he their understanding, that they might understand the scriptures. Now, this is something that Jesus did for the apostles after he resurrected, after he revealed himself to them, and when he was communing with them and eating with them. This is very close to the end of Luke and to the beginning, of John, but ultimately to the beginning of Acts, because each of the first four books, at the end, what picks up from there is Acts. These are four tellings, four different people's view and thoughts and own perceptions of Jesus' life. Birth and life and death and resurrection. But this scripture spoke out to me. Then opened he their understanding that they might understand the scriptures. He, as he was talking to the apostles, he was telling them all of the stuff that he had told them before, but he was telling them in a way now. He actually opened their mind and their hearts and allowed them to fully grasp what he was telling them. Some of the things he told them was stuff that he had told them before, and then he also made them understand some new facts that they couldn't understand before, and that's how we are. When you're first a newborn Christian, first risen from the dead, you're first resurrected, you're very first born again, you're close to God, but you still don't understand what's next for you. A lot of us never. It takes, some people never know what's next, because you have got to get close to God. You have got to fellowship with Him. You have to pray and ask, what's next for me, Lord? What do you have planned for me? What do I need to do? You have to humble yourself and say, Lord, please use me in the way that you need me to be used. Please, Lord, show me what my purpose is. You have to ask Him. And sometimes you don't have to ask. Sometimes He just... In fact, most of the time, He gives you a path. But if you're not in a fellowship, if you're not close enough that you're listening, a lot of times you'll miss it. And you'll go all over God's green earth before you realize where He wants you to be. And a lot of times you'll go through a lot of heartache until you realize where He wants you to be, because God draws you a straight line. He draws you a straight line to your goal. But us being flesh, we don't always take that straight line. Most of the time we don't. I know I haven't. I have taken every which path I could in the past, instead of taking the path that He wanted me to take. But He will open up your understanding. You need only ask. And like I said, sometimes you don't have to ask. He's opening your understanding. You just have to listen. You just have to open your heart to what God has in store for you and listen, and He will open up your understanding. He will allow you to see things in a way that you never did. He will allow you to understand things in a way you never did. He'll allow you to hear things that you never heard, read things that you never read, know things that you never knew you could know. Before I accepted the call, I read the Bible, not like I do now, and I'd read all different translations because I couldn't grasp what I was reading. I could not fully grasp what I was reading, and I have an incredibly high reading comprehension, huge. Always have had an incredibly high reading comprehension, but I could not fully grasp the Bible. And God called me several times, and the last time he called me before this time, when I still didn't submit, I started thinking about it though, and I'd read the Bible and be like, how am I going to preach when I don't even understand what I'm reading? And that's not just because I was reading King James. Like I said, I tried multiple different translations, even the ones that were, pretty right with, normal English. And I'm like, how am I going to preach when I don't really grasp what I'm reading? And how come I can't grasp what I'm reading? Why can't I get deeper into this? I have a high reading comprehension. What's my deal? I need to just focus more. And I went through the Bible, reading book after book, chapter after chapter, verse after verse, and I never could get it. And then I accepted the call. And I asked God one day, Lord, please, give me the ability to understand what I'm reading. And he did. All of a sudden I'm reading the Bible and I'm understanding what I'm reading. And all of a sudden I'm wanting to go back to the King James, which was always incredibly difficult to understand what I was reading in. But I wanted to go back to the King James because I was raised through the King James. I mean, most of my family members used it. And I read it and I got it. And then I was like, Father, help me to understand how to write a sermon. Help me to understand how to translate this to others. And I was worried because when I accepted, I knew there was I had X amount of time before I was going to preach my first sermon. And I was so worried. I was trying to write all these sermons ahead of time, and I was worried to death. And then that's when I asked. I was like, Father, please help me to be able to write a sermon. Help me to be able to translate what I read to others, to teach it and to preach it. And I sat down one day after a whole bunch of stressing, and I started reading it again. And not only did I understand it, I knew exactly how to relay that to you. So I was like, even though I'm going to preach here in like a month and a half, I'm going to start doing verse of the days. And I read a verse, my very first verse of the day, and I knew exactly how to relay it to you, how to teach it, how to preach it. And every day I got better. Every day I understood more. Every single day I felt like I was drawing closer to the Lord. And the thing is, He will open your understanding, that you can understand not just the scriptures, but He will open your understanding as to what He has in store for you, the plan that He has for you. He will make you see and understand and hear. And open up all your other senses, your touch and your taste and your smell and all those other senses out there. There are more than just the flat six. Now, I'm not talking about ESP. I'm talking about the gifts of the Spirit. There are many, many gifts of the Spirit. Some of us have all of them. Some of us have all of them. I was given the gift of ministry. A couple other ones, they're kind of private. Some gifts that He gives you, he gives you to share to others. Some gifts He gives you for you to help you through your life. But be open. Be open to Him. And He will be open to you. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. God bless you.